Trey, Jess, thanks for joining us today on another episode of the Green Houseboat. Today, we're going to talk about capital projects that you want to do to make your houseboat a little bit more eco-friendly. What is the very first thing that you have planned for a future project on your houseboat?
The first one is replacing the heat pump and the air handler. It runs on Freon now. We want to get that out and get something that's more efficient and better for the environment. So our boat is a 2002 model. This heat pump is R22, I believe, or what's Freon, which is a chlorofluorocarbon known to deplete the ozone layer. That's going to have to be replaced, mainly because effective the start of this year in the United States, it was illegal to manufacture or import Freon. And so it's going to become increasingly more expensive to maintain the unit. We know that there is a leak in it because we had to have someone come out and top it off a bit. It's something that's going to have to be done. We could probably make it through another couple years, but it's something that we want to do. There are some tax breaks for a new unit, but more importantly, a new unit won't put out any CFCs. It'll be better for the environment, and it's a heck of a lot more efficient. The one we have now is a 13 SEER.
Wow.
Can go all the way up to a 14 or 15 SEER, and it's a lot quieter on the back deck.
The one we have now is very noisy. I'm pretty sure our neighbors are tired of hearing our AC come on and off all the time.
And in terms of the cost, what would converting from a Freon-based heat pump to a newer model?
So the biggest cost is maintenance. So what they did is when they laid the hull of the boat, they put air handler down, and then they laid floor over it, and then they put everything else. So we have to pull out something that's probably 2 feet by 2 feet by 6 feet long halfway across our boat. And so labor is probably going to cost several $1,000s. The heat pump and the air handler itself, you could probably get $3,500 plus labor to install it. So we feel like we could get lucky getting it done for $6,500, but we're probably gonna have to budget closer to $8,000,
which is not insignificant for us. So this would be a huge project.
Yes,
one that we will ultimately have to do, but we also want to do.
And this is probably in your community of houseboaters, it's common throughout, right? And a lot of the houseboaters, the houseboats are a little bit older, and they're going to be facing with the same thing, especially if legislation comes in that says it's now illegal.
In hindsight, it's something I wish I had known to look more into when we were looking to buy a boat. Now that I always like to know, kind of have my finger on the pulse of what's happening within the houseboat market. A big selling feature is a new HVAC system because of the labor intensive things that you have to go through to really get an air handler out of the bottom of a houseboat. So kicking myself a little bit, wish I had paid more attention to that. But you live and you learn, and we've talked to a few people to kind of get an idea of the cost, and so we know it's something that we're definitely going to have to save up for.
Yeah, and hopefully someone out there can learn from our mistakes when they're buying a boat.
So what is your second area that you want to talk about in terms of becoming a greener houseboat?
Something else that we are considering replacing is, well, first is getting an inverter and then replacing our inverter batteries. Right now, whenever we go out boat camping, we use our generator to power our boat, and that burns gas. So the more we use our generator, the more gas we burn. Ultimately, we just don't want to have to do that because that's a lot of money. We just feel like we're really polluting the environment when we do that. And then also when we're using our generator, we have to be careful of the carbon monoxide that is coming off of our boat and is extremely dangerous and is something that can kill us. So if we're spending the night on our houseboat and we have the generator running overnight, there's always something in the back of my mind that's saying, what's going on with the carbon monoxide? And we have carbon monoxide detectors on our boat, but it's a silent killer. It's something that you always have to be wary of. And one of the things we want to do more often is go boat camping. So it's really kind of just a win-win all the way around, I think. So you're burning less gas, you're using something that's more energy efficient. You're actually probably going to be more comfortable on your boat because you can power a handful of the appliances and amenities to keep you cooler, keep the fridge running and all of that. Just all around a more enjoyable time on our boat. And it's something that we want to put at the top of our list, I think, is like the number one, like an easy thing to do. And it's going to allow us to use our boat in a way that we really enjoy more often.
So Trey, is this another area that if you were to look for a houseboat again and you would see that they'd separated the house batteries from the starter batteries and have an inverter, that would be another buying tip?
Yeah, so I think it's something. We have an inverter on our boat, but we don't know what condition it's in because the person we bought it from and the surveyor said the batteries needed to be replaced, and the individual individual that we bought it from was very much into running the generator, and I think his quote was something close to, "I don't trust electricity," and so it's something that we don't even know if it's working. So it's definitely high up on the list. And if you are looking to get a houseboat and you plan on leaving the dock, an inverter with batteries that are in working condition will essentially make that turnkey. Unfortunately, it wasn't for us, and it's created a little bit of more of a project than we thought it would be, but it's something that can make a boating experience a heck of a lot more enjoyable.
And just about cost, what would you be looking at in terms of a budget for converting to a proper inverter with a proper house battery bank?
We could probably do it for $2,500. One thing that we're looking at is potentially looking at lithium ion batteries. The batteries that are on there now are the lead acid, where you have to put distilled water in there a number of times throughout the year. So lithium ion is more expensive, but you can get 3,000 cycles out of them, and you can drop them to 10%. Whereas the batteries, if we were to place a like-kind exchange for the batteries now, you might get 300 cycles out of them, and you're not supposed to drop them below, I believe, 60%. So we have 8 batteries when essentially we can kind of use 4. So it seems a little wasteful. And because our boat is 20 years old, lithium ion batteries weren't really an option. And so our inverter isn't capable of acknowledging and properly charging a lithium ion battery. Yeah, if we're going to like-kind exchange, maybe $2,500, probably less. If we were to go full lithium ion, more than that, and there's a lot of room to play with. So we're definitely learning about it.
For those of you who would like to connect with Trey and Jess at Deep Houseboat Life, we are going to share a link below in the description. So please join their community and learn about all things green houseboating, as well as about houseboating tips. A big topic in boating is converting to solar panels.
Yeah, so this kind of parlays into the inverter battery and way of charging those batteries off grid without having to necessarily run the generator. We're kind of, I wouldn't say we're waffling on it. We're trying to think if we would be a good candidate for it, because depending upon the level of our lake, it really dictates how much we can be off grid. This year, we were not off grid very much because the lake is full. If the lake were to go down, more beaches, more time away from the dock, it's something we would want to do.
From like a personal standpoint, I think we're incredibly interested in solar panels, but trying to figure out, is it actually going to really truly be something we would use, or would it be something that's just kind of cool to have on our boat? You know, so I think the cool factor is definitely there. We're interested from like a personal standpoint, but the amount that we would probably use them wouldn't be that much, where having an inverter and inverter batteries, it probably might be something that we're better suited for the amount that we're truly away from our dock and off grid.
Yeah, and I think it kind of toes the line of being green, but almost might be wasteful if we don't use it. So it's something that we're gonna, continue to do research on, see how much we'd be away from the dock and what it would cost, because we want to be green, but we at the same time we want to be cognizant of not wasting those materials. Some of our friends that follow us that are sailboaters are actually going around the world, from the Galapagos to the French Polynesia. You need solar panels.
Yeah. Or if you're on a houseboat on a river and you're traveling like a long distance, that would make a lot of sense to have solar panels where we just don't. Lake Lanier is big, but not that big.
In all of these things, this is just a bonus question. How does it affect the resale value of a houseboat?
I think they would all be positives for the resale value of a houseboat. So houseboats were, in the Great Recession, a lot of the manufacturers were wiped out. So the supply of houseboats is very low. The demand seems to be pretty steady, if not increasing. So surprisingly, a houseboat is one of those boats that we've seen ours appreciate in value. I think doing these things would only make it more turnkey for somebody that was looking to get into a houseboat, whether they be seasoned or new. So we think it being a positive, because that's one of the things that we looked at was,
having a young child, we went back and forth between, do we even have time to do a project boat? And I think there's a lot of people, especially if you're retired or about to be retired, and you're like, how do I want to spend my free time? Do I really want to spend my free time upgrading my boat to just, meet the standard minimum level of just being green, or even just comfortable to be on? So I see nothing but positives for this.
Yes. Thank you for sharing these insights. These tips are really invaluable. So just quickly, if you could review the 3 projects that you're considering to make your houseboat greener.
The first one is replacing the heat pump and the air handler.
The second is replacing our inverter and getting inverter batteries.
The final one is maybe looking at how well we would use solar panels for any of our off-grid camping to charge those inverter batteries without having to run the generator.
Thank you very much, Trey and Jess. We'll see you in the next episode of the
Thanks for
Green
having us.
Houseboat.
Thank you.
The Green Boater is looking for 1 million boaters to create one action that helps stop ocean pollution. I encourage you to pick one of them, implement them on your houseboat, tell somebody about it, and you can make a difference for the health of our ocean. And while you're at it, smash subscribe to this channel for more tips on products and practices that will help stop ocean pollution.